My parents were super supportive of my musical dreams and endeavors. My mom especially, she signed me up for all the piano lessons and guitar lessons, and I was always in the plays, and they were very, very supportive of me. And my mom continues to like be at every single one of my shows, and it's
Did you
really,
ever,
I feel
yeah,
lucky to have a supportive network, and my brothers are so supportive because I feel like a lot of people don't get that same level of support. So I feel very
yeah.
fortunate.
Did you do musicals?
Yes, that's how I started doing like being on stage. When I was 5, I started being in musicals, and then I stopped in middle school because I wanted to play sports and just kind of do the music side of the musicals because I'm a terrible dancer. So I was like, we're not doing that. And so then
Yeah.
I just started, writing songs and playing out with just me and my guitar.
What musicals did you do?
I did, let's see. I did Wizard of Oz. I did Les Mis. I did a Christmas one called The Nutty Nutcracker Christmas. I did Peter Pan. I did Ariel. I did Glee. What else?
Okay.
Princess and the Pea. But Les
Nice.
Mis was my favorite.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes, I'm a
So,
big musical girl.
yeah. So speaking of Wizard of Oz, what did you think of the Wicked movies?
Can I be honest?
Yes,
I didn't
please.
I didn't love them. And I think that's because Wicked was like the first big musical I saw. My mom took me. And I don't think you'll ever be able to recreate on a film the feeling of when like Elphaba flies over the audience.
Yeah.
And I, yeah, I just think there's something so special about live theater that the magic was kind of harder for me to encapsulate. But I think that's also because I've seen Wicked the play so many times.
Yeah, that's true.
So like the first time I
Yeah.
saw it was with Kristen Chenoweth as Glinda, which is like so amazing and iconic. But I think if I hadn't seen the play, I would have liked the movie more. I didn't dislike the movie. I just preferred the play.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally understandable.
Yeah.
Josh, you're gonna have to move over, please.
Oh, Josh.
He's like trying to get on my laptop. No, come on.
I love it.
Along with that, like, what is your first musical memory? A memory attached to music, like an album or a concert?
Well, my first concert was Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus, Best of Both Worlds. I was 6, maybe I was 5, but I was about 5 or 6. And it was iconic. I don't think I'll ever go to a better concert than that. The Jonas Brothers were opening. I was
Nice.
loving it. But I have a lot of fond memories of going to concerts with my mom growing up. She was really good about taking us to see concerts and musicals. So a lot of my favorite memories have to do with music. But like my first memory with music is when I was 3, my babysitter and I would go and pick up my older brother from piano lessons. And I was just so mesmerized by it. I wanted to do it so bad. So I went home and told my mom, as a bossy little 3-year-old, I was like, I need to be in piano lessons. And she signed me up. And then I never really stopped banging on those keys.
Yeah. And it's wild that you bring up Hannah Montana because, she celebrated the 20th
20
anniversary this
years?
year, which
Yes.
is wild to think about.
I know, I feel so old.
Yes. So what were some of the foundational albums for you? Like
Oh,
those,
great
yeah,
question.
growing up.
Um, the first one that comes to mind is Red by Taylor Swift. That really like changed my life in a
Yeah.
non-cliche way, but it made me really dive into songwriting and feel, you know, how special it can be and how you can tell a
Mm.
story and how you can relate to people. So that's probably the one that sticks out to me the most. And then all of Carrie Underwood's discography was like my jam. Most like 10-year-old girls would have pictures of like Justin Bieber on their door in their room. I had just like Carrie Underwood everywhere. I was in the fan club. Um,
Nice.
and so those two were definitely like the most found like fundamental for me to get into music and country music especially. And then like my mom would play Sugarland all the time in the house or
Mm.
Jason
Yeah.
Aldean. And then my dad would play like Jimmy Buffett. We'd listen to a lot of Billy Joel. So a lot of different influences.
Yeah.
But
So like
Red
you,
by Taylor Swift, that was my
yeah.
first like, oh my gosh, album.
I'll talk about this later, but your song, I can definitely feel like the Taylor Swift influence for
Thank
sure.
you.
So you've been in Nashville for a year.
So I've been in
You-
Nashville for almost 2 years
Oh,
now.
2 years. Okay. Wow.
Well, it's not yet 2 years, but we're getting
Well,
there.
you've had like so much cool stuff happen in that time. Was there like a moment where where you realized, oh, things are really happening for me here?
Yeah, probably when I played my stadium show in October. I remember coming off of stage and being like, whoa, like what just happened? I just performed for 20,000 people. This is the coolest thing to ever happen in my entire life. And I think that, and then it's like I sat with it more. And when I woke up the next morning, it was just the coolest feeling ever because I've dreamed about doing things like that. I've wanted to do things like that since I was really, really little. So it was crazy being like, whoa, 6-year-old me
Yeah.
would have been freaking out, like so excited. But at the same time, 6-year-old me would have been like, of course we were gonna get there. Um, and so it was one of the coolest moments of my life for sure.
So opening for Jason Aldean, that must have been kind of surreal to like because you grew up listening to his music and now
Yes.
you're opening for him.
Yeah. Dirt Road Anthem went like platinum in my house. So it was so, so cool to, you know, be in that environment and hear all those songs that I grew up listening to. It was a really cool night. And my whole family was there. So my mom, my brothers and I were like jamming out in the pit to his whole set, which was it was a core memory for sure.
Yeah. So like outside of performing for him in front of him, like what is kind of been your biggest pinch me moments in terms of maybe someone you met or like a songwriting session?
Um, I think I'm trying to think. There's been a lot of really cool moments. One that really stands out to me is when I played the listening room the first time with the song Suffragettes.
Yeah,
And I got a standing ovation for one of my songs. And that was one of the first few months that I moved to town. And to get such a strong reaction to like a song I wrote in my bedroom was so
yeah.
fulfilling and so encouraging that I think, I've met a lot of cool people, I've done a lot of cool writes, but I think the moments that are the coolest for me is when I see my music connect with just random people and they feel inspired by it or they feel healed by it. And so that was definitely one of my favorite moments of being in Nashville.
So to loop back to your parents, like what do they think about all this stuff that's happening for you?
Oh, it's like the coolest thing ever. Like
Yeah.
they are just so proud of me and it's really nice to have supportive people in my corner and my mom especially, she's here all the time and going to all my shows and even when I was in high school, she would like fly across the country with me to go play some random bar or audition for something and so I feel very fortunate.
So being in Nashville, like in terms of like networking, because you mentioned suffragettes,
Mhm.
I'm kind of curious, like has the community been pretty like welcoming and to like, yeah.
So welcoming. I was honestly kind of surprised by that. I thought it would be a little bit more cutthroat, but from my experience, everyone is so welcoming. Everyone wants to write with you. And, a lot of the people that have been here for a longer time really want to like mentor younger people
Mm,
and help them
yeah.
and, help them not make the mistakes they did or give them advice to, when you meet a publisher or you go to a record deal meeting or whatever it is. I think it's really cool the community in Nashville, how strong it is, especially in the
Wow.
songwriting network, and how everyone really wants to support everyone. And what I do feel genuinely in Nashville is that everyone thinks all ships rise together. So if you're doing a good thing and we're doing a good thing together, it's all going to work out and we're all going to grow if we all help each other out, which I really like that I think differs from a lot of other music cities.
Yeah. Because I used to live in Nashville and I remember song suffragettes in like its early days. And it's like it
Mhm.
was just so like inspiring to see like a community kind of come up together and like support each
Yes.
other.
Song suffragettes, especially, I think is so, so special because women are not at the forefront in this industry. And so to get
Mm.
together a bunch of women who support each other and want to see each other succeed is so important and so special. I've made so many friends out of Song Suffragettes. I've had so many rights with all the other suffragettes. It's a really, really cool community.
Now, because you mentioned, because women aren't at the forefront, did that worry you about like moving there and like, diving in?
No, not really. My mom is a lawyer and she raises us as a single mom. And so I think that I have never been afraid of, not being the top gender in a room.
Hmm.
Um, and I really believe that if you work hard and you have talent, that it doesn't really matter and you can go as far as you want. So I wasn't worried about that. I was worried about moving here alone and having no friends, but I
Yeah.
found friends and I'm doing all right.
So what have been some of your favorite writing sessions?
So probably my favorite writing session that I've ever had is when I wrote Camouflage. So Avery Evans, Olivia, and I, it was the first time we'd ever written together, all together. I'd written with Avery before, and he was like, "Let's bring my sister in. Like I think you'll like her." And it was the most instant chemistry in a writing session I've ever
Mm,
felt. It was so
yeah.
cool. Like Olivia is now one of my best friends, so is Avery, and we just have so much fun together, and we're not afraid of telling the other person like, "Hey, that's not a good idea. Maybe we should go in this direction." We obviously phrase it nicer, but it's I've never been in a room where like three brains like come into one. It's the coolest thing to experience, and we truly make each other better writers, and I just feel so grateful to get to write with them. But I also had kind of an experience like that when I first came to town when I was in college. And I wrote with Heather Morgan for the first time, who is the sweetest person to walk this earth and has been such a mentor to me and such a great friend. When I first wrote with her, at first I was so scared because I was like, I'm 20 years old. I have no idea what I'm doing. She has like number ones, all these awards, and she made me feel so comfortable. And we just got each other and wrote so well together. And we wrote one of my favorite songs I've ever written. And so it's very magical when you walk into a room and you have that instant chemistry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Now with the camouflage I mentioned earlier, the Taylor Swift influence, but it must be kind of surreal, I guess, to write with people related to Sarah Evans, like another like titan in country
Yeah.
music.
I was always a fan of Sarah's music, but I think it's so cool how Avery and Olivia are like their complete own entity too. Like they work so hard and they're so talented
Hmm.
without even being related to their mom that I just admire their work ethic and how talented they are. Like I just want to sit in a room and like pick their brains forever because I just love the way they think creatively. But yeah, it's been a crazy experience.
So when you're like crafting your own sound, like especially with this song, like what conversations did you have about musically what you wanted to evoke?
I don't even know if we had a conversation about it. I think we all were just like on the same page that we wanted it to be, kind of traditionally country with a modern edge, that could kind of fit into different genres. I've always said I don't want to like completely pigeonhole myself one way because I think that I'm many things.
Yeah.
My parents are from Maryland, and so I grew up with some pretty Southern values. And but I'm also like a Midwest girl at heart. So I call it Chicago country. But when we wrote this song, we kind of were all on the same page that we wanted it to be this kind of traditional country elements with like the mandolin and the steel, but then also having a little bit of modern edge, that I think was executed perfectly how I wanted it.
Yeah. So, I know I've spoken to a lot of like songwriters and how they'll write a song and they'll be midway through the process and they realize, oh, I've heard this song before, and they realize that they're like subconsciously writing this other song. Has that ever happened to you?
Yes, for sure. I think it happens a lot. And especially, you got to get creative with melodies sometimes because there's really only so many chords you can choose from. So you got to
Mm,
make it sound different and do your own thing. But I try to, if I'm thinking it's sounding like a different song, I'm like, pivot, we gotta scratch that. Keep going a different direction.
yeah.
But I think it's also important to have influences. So like for this song, we were really influenced by like Megan Roney and Ella Langley.
Mm,
And I
yeah.
think that, you can have an influence but not have a copy, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
I definitely have been writing a song and being like, wow, this melody's so good. And then I'm like, oh, because it won 12 Grammys and went triple platinum. No
Right.
wonder.
I don't know about you, but like I stream a lot of music, so it's like you get these melodies in your head, and it's
Yeah.
like trying to clear those out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, this probably sounds weird, but a lot of times when I'm driving, I don't listen to music and I just like try
Mm.
to see what comes to my brain, like any melodies or anything, because it's easy to, you know, copy some melodies if you're listening all the
Yeah.
time.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like, what does Camouflage indicate next for you? Do you plan to release singles or like an EP, an album?
Yeah, I think I definitely want to release a lot of music. We've been working on a lot of things that I'm super excited about. So I'll probably release a few more singles and then hopefully go towards an EP or an album. I'm just really excited about this new chapter of music. I feel like in the past 2 years, I've really figured out who I am as a person and as an artist. And so it's reflecting a lot into my music. I know the types of things I want to say, the sound I want, and I'm just super excited. I love these songs so much, and I'm kind of at a point that I'm writing for myself and what I want and my brand, and hopefully other people like it. But if not, I'm just really proud of what I've been making.
Yeah. So what artists are on your bucket list to open for?
So many. Megan Maroney, I would
Mm.
love to open for. She's a huge idol of mine. Taylor Swift, of course. Carrie Underwood. My like dream would be to open for Billy Joel, but I don't know if he's ever gonna go on tour again. But if you know him and he is, have him
Yeah.
call me. I would die. Um, Kenny Chesney, I'd love to open for Kenny Chesney. Um, so many people. The list could be like actually 500 pages long. But those are good. Oh, Chris Stapleton. I would love to open for
Oh
Chris
yeah.
Stapleton.
Yeah.
He is the best live vocals I've ever heard. Like he sounds better live than he does on a record. It's like bone chilling. It's amazing. So yeah, I could keep going on, but those are like probably top five or however many I said.
Yeah. So did you grow up listening to Billy Joel?
Yes. And I don't know if it was my parents that introduced me to him or what, but I love Billy Joel. I think he's like the greatest songwriter ever. My